Now the shortest distance, or interval, we call it, between any two notes is a half step. Sometimes it's called a half tone or a semitone. And unless, as I said before, you're stretching strings or sliding on a non-fretted instrument, with a fretted instrument, each fret is a half step apart. Now, if you remember, as we just looked at on the keyboard, between the E and the F, there's no sharp, or if you're coming down, there's no flat. So E is your first string open. If you fret it at the first fret, it goes up a half step, or a semitone, to an F. Then, here's one of your black keys. If you're on a keyboard, F sharp, G, these are all half steps apart, G sharp, A sharp, B. Now remember, here's another place where there's no black key, so between B and C, it's a half step, C sharp, D, D sharp, and you're back on your octave E. And if you went one fret higher, it would be F. No E sharp to F, just go straight to F. Let's look at that on the A string. The string starts at A sharp, B. Now between B and C, there's no black key, so you go B to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, again no E sharp, but go straight to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, as your octave A. Now, here's your first exercise. I'm not going to go through every string like this, but I'd like you to take a little time to go through every string and say the note as you're playing it. So it's sort of name it and play it. So you're starting with your bass E, and then you say F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now watch what I'm doing here. You notice I didn't use just one finger going up, and this has nothing to do with theory. This is just a little exercise for you. Use a different finger for each fret you go up. And when you get to the 5th fret, try going up to your 5th fret with your first finger and repeat A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Okay, so I'm shifting my hand up. Do it on every string. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, and so forth, all the way up. And pay attention to those notes. You want to get these notes embedded in your brain. One of the things you've got to know is the names of the notes on the strings, and there's no easy way to do this, although I'm going to show you some shortcuts as we go along that will really help you solidify where everything is. And doing these chromatic scales is both a good finger exercise and also a good way to learn the string. So if you're on the 2nd string, that's a B. 1st fret is no B sharp, remember, it's a C. C sharp, D, D sharp, then you go up to E. F, no E sharp, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and your octave B. And of course, as you go up to the next one, it's a C. So right there you can remember, if you know that the octave is the same as your open string, there's a B, 1 fret higher, that's a C note. Okay, so there you're already starting to make a little connection here between what note is which here. Okay, so go through those chromatic scales on every string, say them aloud, and try to figure out some places where the fret corresponds to something you know in your mind. Now here's one idea that you might have right away. If you've learned how to tune your guitar at the 5th fret, so that when you fret that 6th string, say, at the 5th fret, that's the same as your open A string. So if you go up chromatically, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, that A is the same as your open A. the guitar is correctly tuned, those should be the same note. Okay? Same thing on the fourth string, on the fifth string to the fourth, you go A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. Here's your D, same as your open D string. On D, it's D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and there's your open. Okay? So right away on these strings, you know that this is an A, this is a D, and this is a G. Now things change a little bit when it gets to the third string and the second string, because these are tuned a little differently, and I'm going to explain how they're tuned in a couple of minutes. But if you go up on your G string, G, G sharp, A sharp, your B comes out on the fourth fret instead of the fifth fret. So that's your B right there, third string, fourth fret. And then when you're back on the second string, you're back at the fifth fret here when you go B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, same as your open. So once again, sixth string, fifth fret is an A, fifth string, fifth fret is a D, fourth string, fifth fret is a G, third string, fourth fret is a B, and your second string, fifth fret is an E. Okay, try to get those in your mind for now. By the way, I'm talking about sharps going up the scale. If you're coming down from a note, we usually call it a flat. In other words, if you're going down the scale, which you could also do as an exercise, let's say you start at the E at the sixth string, 12th fret, and you come down the scale chromatically, we'll go E. Now coming down, we can call this E flat. Then D, D flat, C. Now there's no C flat, it goes straight to a B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, no F flat, E. Okay, so you can try that also, and you know it'll eventually stimulate some things in your mind where you'll start seeing how the sharps and flats come together. They're actually the same note. F sharp and G flat is basically the same note. It's certainly played at the same fret on the same string, and you'll start to learn those things as well. Now let's try something else with this chromatic scale. Let's try, instead of going all the way up on one string, by the time we get to the fifth fret, let's try jumping to the next string higher, because we've just seen that instead of playing this fretted fifth fret, you can certainly play the fifth string open. So let's see how this works. E, and do this with me. I'll do it very slowly. Just play right along with me. And say the names of the notes as you do it. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now you're open A sharp, B, C, C sharp, open D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, open G, G sharp, A sharp, and then your open second string, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and keep going up, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and you can, if you want, go A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and finish up on the octave. Let's try that one more time together. We'll do it slowly again, and let's just play the whole chromatic scale going up, and then let's come back down again and see what happens. Here we go. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And you can do that coming down as well. Okay, let's move on. Now we use chromatic notes quite often in runs or in melodies, but we don't usually use chromatic scales. I can just show you a little bit of something that we can use if you're in the middle of playing a tune, and if you already play some bass runs, you can go up the scale chromatically, starting on F, let's say, going to an A chord. You could do the same thing going to a D chord, starting on your A note. Actually, I'm starting on my A sharp because I just want 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 hits my D, and then I play the D chord. Go back to the other one. It's just one use of a chromatic scale. Let's go to the next one, to a G. See that? So that's just one way, if you're into playing bass runs, you can use these. Come down. Okay, let's move on. This is just a little aside here.